Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of ZB's Horsepower Talk. I once again am ZB, Zach Brown. I'm going to do some instant reactions to the Clash. Just finished watching that. A bunch of other news in motorsports through the weekend. And kind of look ahead to the Daytona 500. So let's get into it. So the Cup Series in NASCAR just finished up the Clash at the Coliseum, with Martin Truex Jr. winning the second race there, and um, also Dillon and Kyle Busch getting second and third respectively. They're doing a medal ceremony as I'm recording this right now. It's weird for NASCAR to see that, but I guess they want to do something different at LA Coliseum because why not? I mean, we had about 50 spectators in the stands, it looked like, so it is what it is. Caution filled race. It was just too many cars in such a small track with that. Too many big cars. Um, Entertaining bits and pieces. The heat races were the best part. They're short enough. They only had 9, 10 cars in them, and it was a good show with all four of those heat races. Even the last chance showdowns weren't too bad. But the main event just still doesn't appeal to me. It's a money grab by NASCAR, trying to get a new audience there. But I mean, come on, you're doing it a Sunday night, not even on a weekend. I mean, a holiday weekend or anything like that. And you decide to do a Sunday night in LA, where first of all, NASCAR's not even that popular over there, and people've got to work tomorrow. Um, so they really should do this on a Saturday night if they want to get some more people coming to the race and to having a better crowd. Um, but going into the race detail specifically, Truex was the fastest car. Um, you can argue Bubba Wallace was fast early on, but he got caught up with Austin Dillon, and I'm sure Bubba's going to bitch and moan like he usually does. I haven't watched any of those interviews, and I don't really care to. I'm sure they'll come up later on. I mean, it's legitimately short track racing. I mean, there's just nowhere to go. People get just bottled up at that track. You're going to crash eventually. Everybody, I guarantee nobody has a clean car. But what you do with it after you wreck, that's kind of determines what type of driver you are and how you handle that situation. He didn't have too much time left, but he still could have made his way up and finished decent up there. Um, the proof of that is that Kyle Busch wrecked early on, and he ended up freaking third in this thing. Uh, he was one of the faster cars. The longer run, it wasn't as fast, but he ran the shit out of that thing. I don't think that tires were left. Seeing him run through the field. Um, and also Dillon getting second. I think bringing Kyle Busch over to that organization is going to do a lot of good for them. They've been very mediocre for the past, well, since I guess Harvick left, really. And just bringing a Hall of Fame driver like Kyle Busch, as much as people don't like him, he's still a hell of a racer. And that was one of my predictions last week. It's going to be one of the drivers to look out for this season and contend for a championship. He's going to get multiple wins. He's going to bring a lot to that organization and get them back on top. They showed it today. Good for seeing Truex get a win after a frustrating year last year. You could tell it's been a minute since he won. Uh, Almost like a sigh of relief, thinking that for him that he can still do this, he can still wheel it. I don't think anybody ever had a doubt. There's a lot of unfortunate circumstances that happened last year for him. It just happens. Um, but again, the idea, I guess, is cool. that NASCAR is doing this, but in just go back to Daytona, start off speed weeks with the shootout or whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. Um, the second year in a row, not a big crowd, and just NASCAR's not really thinking too well of doing this on a Sunday night. Yeah, again, people got to work tomorrow, and then you have a race, the main event, where it's just caution filled, and 16 cautions is just way too much for a 150 lap race, and you don't even count the caution laps, and it just takes forever. People are going to go to bed. It's just basically just coming from average viewer seeing it. They're wondering why their ratings are going down. Well, I mean, that's a reason. You build a quarter-mile track inside of a historic landmark expecting you're going to have a great viewership, and you're really not. These cars are too big, and it's just too many people in that main event. But one thing I do take from this, I think NASCAR needs to look at going to a format of heat races at short tracks. Anything less than a mile, so you can include Richmond, Martinsville, Bristol, and North Wilkesboro, I guess now. Do the same type of format here, do heat races, have less cars in the main event, and you're going to get better racing for the short tracks. So there's just too many cars on the track anymore, and it ends up just being kind of a cluster at a lot of these races. Do short 25, 30 lap heat races, have last chance showdowns, whatever you want to call them. Consolations is what they really are, and field 30 cars at most, and go from there. If you don't make the race, that's sorry, just kind of sucks to be you. So that's just kind of what I think they should look at doing. They want to add all these sort of just weird, ridiculous ideas with a street race in Chicago. Again, we'll get to that later down the road. But that's people want to see good racing and less cars on the track, not these short tracks, and just more excitement with shorter races. I think could be have a lot of potential to be more exciting than what we've been seeing. And again, take the clash out of LA. Just go back to Daytona and stop trying to get fancy and stuff with this. Well, that's really all I have for the clash. Again, it had some excitement. Pablo's driving up through the field was pretty well on par for what he does, but it shows you that wherever he's going to go, he's going to have speed. So again, watch out for that this year, and I think you can see a good bounce back year for Truex. Definitely, I think that's going to lead to a lot of momentum. I mean, last year Joey won the Clash and he won the championship. So, I'm not saying that's going to happen with Martin, but I mean, he's off to a good start. We're gonna stick with NASCAR a little bit for a little bit longer, just to go over some recent rule changes they came up with. The biggest one was was Chastain's rule. I guess you can call it Chastain's rule, where he rode the wall at Marsville. Everybody saw it, and everybody in every community saw it. It was one of the biggest highlights that NASCAR's had. Understandably, they outlawed it due to safety reasons. I mean, you're going 100 miles an hour, whatever, faster than everybody else on the track there. What if somebody gets loose, goes up in front of you? That's just asking for danger. So smart actually one of the rule changes that I can get on board with. So um, and that's really the biggest thing. They have different penalties now for um, tires and tires going astray from those lug nuts on pit road and how they all go. But the biggest one to take is the no more running a wall to advance your position and everything. All right, moving on um, to SRX news. And for anybody that doesn't know, it's Tony Stewart's series, summer series. Now it's going to be on ESPN on Thursdays. Um, and I think that's a fantastic idea. Again, there's nothing else to do on Thursdays, so um, you'll see a lot more drivers from a variety of competition be willing to compete in those. And some big names are going to compete full time. Uh, Bobby Labonte, he's done that last couple of years. He's going to race all 6 races in SRX. Newman's coming back to race all 6 races. Big name here is Keselowski is coming into the series, race all 6 races, which is surprising to me. I thought he would race maybe 1 or 2, but to see him come out and race the entire season, that's uh, goes to show you how much that series has grown and how much more intriguing Thursday night racing is going to be instead of Saturdays when you can't get the lure of a current NASCAR driver to the track. They've got stuff to do that weekend, but you can get them there before their actual races. I think it'll be good. Haley Deegan's also going to race all 6 races. I think she only raced part time last year, so she's racing all for the entire season with them. And she's actually she's impressed me with that series. It's all equal equipment and just kind of how much you can wheel that car. She doesn't take any crap from anybody, so that's um, definitely cool to see that. Um, Another big current NASCAR driver, Denny Hamlin's going to race at 1 race. He's going to race at Stafford, and then you have a couple drivers. You got Elio racing in a couple races this year in SRX, and Kyle Busch is going to race in a couple races. So that's definitely intriguing so far. I'm excited to see that. Hell, I feel like I like SRX more than NASCAR at some points. Tony's doing a good job, and it brings in it sells out every single time. So that'll be interesting to see, especially on ESPN. It'll be easier to see. Just put it on your phone and go see it watch it on Thursday night or whatever. And I believe that starts in midsummer in July. Well, I was going to get into some dirt racing with the All Stars. We're kicking it off down in Georgia this weekend, but it rained out, so nothing to go over there. Next up is Volusia for them, and World of Outlaws coming up too down there, kicking off dirt season, and for those series, definitely looking forward to that. And we're starting to get into the thick of things now. Everything's starting to get rolling. I'll continue to update every week and get excited for every race coming through. The well, the next big one up, the really big one is Daytona 500. I'm not going to give a prediction this weekend or for this week yet. That'll be next week's podcast, giving an overview of what I expect, which is a shot in the dark because it's Daytona. But I'll try, and because my prediction this weekend was not right at all. I had Chastain winning. That didn't happen. So we'll see. It's anybody's game down Daytona. Um, but tune in next week and keep following. There's some special interviews coming out, some bonus episodes that are going to hit, and I'm not going to reveal who is coming in the interviews, but it's going to be exciting, exciting time right now. So keep following, and if you haven't yet, subscribe on YouTube. I'm on Spotify, everywhere you can get podcasts. Um, look forward to this Super Bowl this weekend, and then really get into the heart of race season. So until next time, see you guys.